Welcome, second grade teachers, to the six weeks curriculum preview. Give yourselves an applause because we've made it almost. It's the six weeks, and you've done a great job, and we are headed to the end. So let's take a look at what the six weeks looks like. We want those babies to be level M. Level N would be even more great. It would just be the best. So, what we want them to do is to continue reading and just continue to build that independent reading level as they go into the summer and really encourage them to do some summer reading. Um, you see here that we have the same minutes. But the newest expectation is to apply reading strategies to gather information on a class topic. So you can see that we are going to be doing research. So we're going to do a class topic. Okay. But as we look at the expectations, we still have that we want them to read all unit sight words fluently. We really want them to continue to be independently reading and writing about their reading with responses. And remember that you can get a grade from your rubric from independent reading. You can get a grade from your rubric from literary response. And one of the things I really encourage you to do for their folder to go to the next year teacher is doing the How Are You Growing as a Reader. That would be just great information for that teacher to know about them. So the lead standard this 6 weeks is research gathering. And when you look at what it is in second grade, it says students determine, locate, and explore the full range of relevant sources addressing a research question and systematically record the information they gather. They're expected to gather information from available sources as well as from interviews with local experts. So, knowing that that's really the whole goal is about the research, we will dive into that a little bit later. But look at that independent reading level again. M is satisfactory, and we really want them strong going into summer. The other genres that you are really looking at this 6 weeks is poetry, and that'll be a lot of fun. And the conventions that you need to look for, the phonics is vowel digraphs and diphthongs and R controlled vowels. And once again, spelling and reading those sight words. Remember, there is no substitute for eyes on text reading. They become better readers. They have to read a lot. So we need them being in their just right books. One of the things that Dawn has done for you in her curriculum preview for social studies is she has outlined every Reading to AUC book that meets the standards for her unit overview this 6 weeks. So I really encourage you to look at that curriculum preview and to find books that that you could use in your guided reading, but then also where putting those just right books into their book bags where they're reading them every day about the things they need to learn about social studies. So take a look at her curriculum preview for those books to put in there. So looking at phonics again, we know that we have those high frequency words. We know the development of vocabulary, and then we've already talked about these type of things that we need to be looking at for phonics. So let's dive in. Word study. Okay, knowing those words and doing activities with those words, what I want to suggest to you is that you really teach them to look for words in their own independent reading that they don't know that they would like to understand and have a better understanding of this last 6 weeks. You might let them pick their own vocabulary words, but they're words that they find in their reading that they want to know better. So just an idea. So looking at your English word study, your vowel digraph, your homophones, I love this particular thing that they put in their reading or the writing notebook or reading notebook. Some books that you might want to read to them that are so great is Dear Dear by Jean Beretta. How Much Can a Bear 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 by Brian Cleary. So those are some great ways to introduce homophones to them and to look, and then use this anchor chart that we talked about to really hone in on what are homophones and what are the ones that they need to secure in second grade. Week 33 is diphthongs, OU and OW. You're going to do word work 18, combined word sets 17 and 18, studying those words. Week 34 is the diphthongs OI and OY. And that 35 and 36 is R-controlled vowel sounds. Some really important patterns for them to learn. Looking at their academic vocabulary for this particular unit, you're going to see that it has the same things that you're talking about with diphthongs, but then they're going to be doing some research. So we want to be finding evidence. We want it to be relevant, and one of the things is research. What is research? So you might want to spend some time helping them understand what they're doing. It is National Poetry Month, the month of April. So really explore and have fun with poetry. Your librarians can help you find someone's to do with your kids. These are some great examples about how maybe a poet might have used their research skills to create poems. So using these two books to really explore how these authors took what they knew about particular things and created poems. So I went out and found the National Poetry Month website, and you have the link here, and I just grabbed this off of their website. So here's some ideas about ways to celebrate poetry. Just really encourage you to really let kids explore poetry this time. I love the chocolate poem on the sidewalk, number 15. Wouldn't that be fun with kids? They would love that in second grade. Um, I also love watch a poetry movie. Get ready for Mother's Day by making a card featuring a line of poetry. Have them making their moms a specific poetry. Remember, um, poetry is just so much fun, and your librarian can help you with finding other poems. And remember your Friday anthology of poems that you already have. So let's take a look at some of the focus lessons that you might do this 6 weeks to really hone in on that securing that comprehension. You can use a movie or documentary in the 3 kinds of thinking to discuss text. Use the guiding questions on the Billboard resource to reflect on what students have learned this year about how writers convey information directly and indirectly, and explain that they will use what they've learned as they work on their class research project. So let's take a look at the class research. Um, I really want to encourage you, Donna and I really want you to combine your social studies and your ELAR this time, because it just fits so well together, and there's some great things that they can do with the things that Dawn has in the unit overview. You will be using the Big Six. That's I have right here is how you look at that. Your librarians are very well versed in the Big Six, so it asks you to go and have them help you with some of your focus lessons or introducing the research project process to your children. So, the first part of the Big Six is generating questions. What's your task? What do you want to know? So, let's take a look at your guided questions from your social studies units. Why do we celebrate Memorial Day? When do we celebrate Memorial Day? How do you celebrate it? And then the other one is, why is July 4th important to the United States? So, Dawn has some great resources for you to be able to answer those questions. So, it says a class project, so you might want to do that as a class. The second thing that you're going to be learning in social studies is economy. How might people earn money? How do you choose whether to spend or save your money? What is the relationship between income, goods, and services? So you might want to do that as a class project. And then the last one that you might even want to combine your biomes, your grassland, from your science. So either way, use that time for social studies and science to really hone in on those things and getting kids really excited about the research. The second step is gathering it. How do you gather information and how do you do it? Gathering. So one of the things that I used to do when my kids so you've gathered your information. So how do we find things? So you have to teach kids what is the things we're looking for? Where do we ask for it? You might want to see, have an expert come in about different things. This is an example on the left about note taking. But what you might want to do is get a piece of manila paper and divide it into equal parts and have kids take notes as you learn about different things and write their notes on there and where did you get that information from. So then you take that into your writing because you want them to write about what you've talked about. So this is basically we're doing a brief, middle, beginning, and ending, but I think this is a time where you can do expository here and you really want to thinking about that stage 7, stage 8 process. So the genres expository and procedural. So this research it'll be great to be able to do that. Your grammar work are distinguished between plurals and possessives. After providing many experiences with singular possessive, teach students how to punctuate plural possessives. Use mentor text to show how authors use plurals and possessive. See your clarifier for the I notice and invitation to imitate, because those are some fun ways to teach grammar. So look at your clarifier on that. So once again, you want to make sure that you use the stop procedure as they write to proofread, and look at your overview on page 7 for detailed instructions about how to do that. So in your writing, you want to design your focus as you conference with them about how to write about their research. So they would still use the 3-box planner to organize their ideas for personal narrative, how and why to answer thick questions as they develop, or use their stop to produce first draft writings on that. And as they go about writing, you want to set aside 3 to 5 minutes to check for those skills, for the accuracy of the K2 spelling. Did they add suffixes to short vowels, the vowel consonant E words, apostrophes that you've just taught? They've got that down. And then who is really doing a good job of writing about what you've learned? And then in reflection, just celebrate those kids each day that are doing those good things that you see. Now the last step is publishing and evaluating. So I put this on here about really helping kids to see what if does the information that you may have, it goes through all the different 6 steps, and ask them some basic questions. You might want to make this more simplified for them. Ask your librarian to help you with this. But I put a picture here because I want you to really let kids make books of their research. This was, of course, about the animal research, but if you choose to do about economy, let them make books and have a celebration of their work with their writing, and then let them do some other things like these right here. They made some projects with that. There's some other great ways for them to add to their research. They could do pic collage. They could do a photo card. This is where your digital learning people come in to really helping you see how they can show their research. Dawn and Brendan and I would love to see how you combine your social studies and science with your research this 6 weeks. We'd love to come out and celebrate with you with your kids. So happy researching, and have a great end of the year.